The voice of the gods in Enheduanna, the world's first writer. Circa 2280 BCE, you're in the Sumerian heartland. A woman dares to sign her name to words meant for eternity. You are in a temple courtyard, marble dust swirling at your feet. The moon hangs high, its sacred light, bathing the ziggurat of Inanna, the moon god. The chants rise and fall like breath, and at the center of it all, draped in white linen, gold dust on her brow, stands a woman with eyes like flint. Enheduanna, daughter of Sargon of Akkad, high priestess of yore, and the first person in recorded history to write as I. In a world where gods are everything and men rule by divine right, she finds her power not through the sword but through poetry, prayer, and politics. Appointed by her father to secure Summer's loyalty to the Akkadian Empire, Enheduanna doesn't just perform rituals, she redefines them. She writes hymns, laments, invocations, sacred songs to Inanna, goddess of war and love. She doesn't just praise the gods. She speaks to them directly. I, Enheduanna, exalt you. I have given birth to these hymns for you, O Inanna. I had never been used like this before. Not in clay, not in history. But then rebellion. A man named Lugalain rises against Akkadian. Brule. He casts her out of the temple. She is stripped of power, humiliated, driven into exile. And there alone, cast out, yet unbroken, she writes again. I, Enheduanna, who once sat in the sacred room, am now tossed to the edge of the city. The light is vanquished, darkness closes in. She pleads to Inanna, not just for herself, but for justice, for the soul of the land. And the gods, if we believe the records, answer. The rebellion is crushed. She is restored to power. Her poems become ritual canon used for centuries. And what remains? Clay tablets, 4,000 years old, etched with words from a woman's soul. Before Homer, before the Bible. Before written history had a voice, she gave it one. Her name wasn't just remembered, it was written very well. Let us stay in your... But now shift our gaze from the marble altar to the temple's quiet shadow. We follow the footsteps of someone forgotten by history, but who saw history made. Through the eyes of a servant, Enheduanna's world through another's voice, told through the eyes of a temple servant girl named Iltani. Iltani was just 13 when she first saw Enheduanna. She had been sweeping rose petals from the steps of the temple ritual waste from the morning offering when the high priestess emerged. Golden cords trailing from her headdress, the sigil of Inanna glowing from her breast like a second sun. She didn't walk. She moved like a prayer. Everyone in your knew the name, Enheduanna, daughter of the conqueror Sargon. But to Iltani, she was more than lineage, she was voice. When Enheduanna recited hymns, the words didn't just describe the gods, they summoned them. In Iltani, she poured her daily water bowls, lit the temple fires, and listened. Then came the dark days. Lugalain's soldiers stormed the temple. Statues were toppled. Priests were bound. And Enheduanna was dragged from the sacred chamber, her regalia stripped. The high priestess's cries echoed through the corridor not of fear, but defiance. Iltani hid in the storage room, clinging to a jar of date wine as soldiers thundered past. The city grew quiet after that. The temple of Inanna, once teeming with incense and song, became a tomb. Worship was banned. Inanna's name was outlawed. Only silence remained. But then one night, months later, Iltani returned alone, barefoot, carrying stolen oil and a wick. She crept into the altar room. Dust choked the air, but she set the lamp down anyway, lit it, whispered a line she remembered, "Lady of largest heart, goddess of blazing battle." And then she heard it, rustle, not wind, a presence, not memory. And there, at the temple threshold, stood Enheduanna, thin, older, but undiminished. She had returned, and she brought with her a new hymn, born in exile, sharp with sorrow, wild with truth. That night, Enheduanna didn't speak to the crowd. She spoke to Iltani. You heard the words when no one else did. That is devotion. And devotion is what the gods remember. Years later, when Iltani was grown and her name forgotten, she would still whisper those hymns in the quiet. And though she left no record on clay, her hands once lit the lamp that reignited a goddess. History may remember the priestess, but the fire, it was lit by a servant,